Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It is Karen here with you today. Today I'm going to share with you a collage that I have created in my large dilutions journal. So I'm starting off with a whole heap of scrap paper, collage papers that I've got lying around on my desk that I really needed to use up. So this is what I'm doing. And so I've got a whole heap of different ones here. So the little dot one there is some wrapping paper that come from Scrapping Clearly. I think it was in a parcel that was all wrapped up and I really liked it, so I kept it. I've got some scrap bits of Dina Wakley's Collage Collective from all sorts of her all three of the books, yeah. And I've also got a little bit of dictionary paper, bits that I've cut out of, so you can see there's one up there that's had circles cut out of it. The dictionary had hearts cut out of it. There's some art by Marlene collage papers in there. There's also some rice paper there that I printed myself from home on the printer just to see how it worked out. And I've got some old book paper here, which was from a collage pack that I bought long time ago. So I'm making up my background here. I'm just doing one half of the page, otherwise we'd be here forever. But collage is fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just filling in all the little gaps and pieces around where some of the background, the dilutions paper you can still see, although you still can see some of it, so it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab out my watercolors, and these are my Prima watercolors. You know how they all come in separate containers. So what I've done is I've got a palette here. It's a I'll put a link to it in the description box, but basically it's just a palette that I've removed the inside part of it out, and I've taped all my little half pans into the bottom of it. So Kate Palmer has actually got a video on her channel on how she's actually done it, so I'll put a link in the description as well so you can find it in there. I had all the sets, so all my sets are completed into the one now, which is why they didn't quite all fit. There were 6 at the very top that didn't quite fit. Anyway, so what I've done there is I've just got some of Tim's stamps, and I've stamped a little bit into the background. So I'm just using a archival jet black ink, so when that sets it's not actually going to move, so it looks really cool. So I'm just doing some random stamping into the background to help build up my layers and make it look really cool, because collage is one of my favorite things to do. So now I've got this little circle one is from Paper Artsy, and I've got a little bit of paint that I'm putting onto the stamp and stamping onto my page. It's very important though that after you finish stamping with paint that you clean your stamp off. So this piece of tissue, it's actually tissue paper, like normal wrapping tissue paper that I've printed onto, is an image from Michelle Grant, and it's from her Rebel collection art pack. So I'm just going to glue that down onto my page with some gel medium and make sure that she's all nice and secure. So she's got a layer underneath and on top. And the little butterfly that I've got here is a silhouette from Scrap FX, and I'm just gluing that down with some art glitter glue, because when that dries, it's dried clear, so you can't actually see any blobs of glue anywhere. Yeah, so that's cool. So what I'm doing now is I've got my paints out again, and I'm just adding in a little bit more of the watercolor around the edges of my rice paper so that she blends into the background a little bit more. So, and I've also got another piece of Scrap FX scrap paper, rice paper, with some quotes on it that I'm going to trim out and stick that on there as well. So it says, "I am woman, sophisticated, wild and free," I think is what it says. And so yeah, I thought that worked in quite well with my page. I'm just getting it nice and dry, and now I'm going to try and tackle the eyes, which doesn't quite work out how I want it to begin with, but I managed to fix it in the end. So while that's drying, I'm just going to add in a little bit more detail into my background, and I've got some acrylic inks here from Liquitex and Amsterdam. So the pink there is an actual fluoro one. It's really it's so cool. I love it. And I've got a bit of gold ink there that I've just mixed in with a little bit of water to thin it down, and a fan brush so I can do like a really nice light splatter over my page. And it looks really pretty. So I'm just trying to do these eyes again, and I've got the Posca pens, and it didn't quite work out and it looked really bad. So what I'm doing is colouring over the whole lot and starting again. So that's why her eyes look really white and, you know, creepy at the moment. But I've got the blue, what's it called? Aqua green turquoise Posca. So I've just drawn back in the irises and the whites of the eyes, and so that I can get that happening. And of course trying to get it to dry, you know, because I'm a little bit impatient. And where I've lost some of my black lines, I've just got a fine rollerball pen there that I'm just drawing them back in. So now I've grabbed out my Intense pencils, and you can see what's happened. I went to go sharpen it and I grabbed the wrong sharpener because it wasn't big enough, and the whole thing fell apart, and now I've got pencil shavings everywhere. Anyway, I will fix that in a minute. But what I'm trying to do with my Intense is just add some extra details into her eyes. So I'm just using a couple of different blues and greens. So I cut that bit there out where I've tidied up my desk, and yeah, anyway, had to get the vacuum out and all that kind of good stuff. It was a craft accident, craftastrophe. So now I've just added in a little bit more detail into the eyes and a few more white spots where I smudged it. And here's some of the close-ups of my page. Really hope you've enjoyed my collage. I hope I have inspired you. Go and check out Michelle's art images. I'll put a link in the description. Kate's Prima watercolor palette, because that's really cool when they're all stuck in together. It makes life so much easier. And yeah, so till next time, see you later. Bye.